Is a buy-to-let investment right for you? In this video, I will discuss the pros and cons and then how you can get your first buy-to-let if you think it's something right for you. Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Radhika and I have a portfolio of HMOs at the moment, and we have made the conscious decision to move into buy-to-let. We chose to go into buy-to-lets at the moment just for personal reasons. One, we want quicker cash flow, and two, we don't need heavy refurbs going on, which actually does require larger funds and things like that. So we've just made the conscious decision just to get a little bit of cash flow, park some of our money in. So some of the pros in a buy-to-let is that you will get a monthly cash flow coming in. Usually buy-to-let tenants, and all my research that I've done, and everything is in my own opinion, is that tenants usually stay in there for longer and they pay monthly, and that will be enough to cover your mortgage and give you a surplus. So that is monthly cash flow coming in. If you are in property for the long term as well, you could have potential capital growth. Obviously that is never ever guaranteed, but hopefully in the future there could be an additional capital growth, especially like if you are getting the rental income coming in plus the capital growth. That's just an extra boost for you. In some cities that the affordability of properties is very high, or depending on what people want to do, if they move around for jobs and things like that, then they might just want to rent. So it's always interesting to see what the research says, where are people renting and why they're renting. Now, all of that sounds too good to be true, and you know what, if you get it right, it does work. But let's just talk about the cons, because I think it's so transparent. It's not an easy go and not everyone is going to experience all of the flowers. And the biggest con is that if you have a void period, you get zero income coming in. You have to find a tenant quickly, and that means that when you're getting zero income coming in, that means you're going to have to pay out of your pocket to go and pay for the mortgage and pay for other things. Moving on to the second con is that there are still other things that you need to pay for apart from your mortgage. If you are going through that route, you also need to pay your lettings agency. If you have a lettings agency, you need to pay tax depending on your structure of how you set your property business up, or if it's in your personal name. There's insurance. If you're part of like a landlord scheme, then you will still pay insurance for that as well. And there are rules and regulations that you need to follow. So if you think it's right for you, here are 6 tips to help you try and get your first buy-to-let. The first one is making sure your credit is in check. Now, if you've been following me, then you know I don't have the best credit and I missed a few payments just because I was too lazy, and fingers crossed come October I can start getting more lenders lending to me. But just pay off any personal debt, making sure that you're paying off your credit cards in time, making sure you're paying off any debts in time. It's not to say that you won't get a mortgage, but there will be fewer lenders who are willing to lend to you just because you are riskier, and you might just get a higher interest rate. That's what I'm experiencing at the moment, so it might not be the same, and this is where you need to speak to your broker. The second tip is just calculating your margins and just understanding how to calculate return on investment, because you don't want to buy to let property where you're paying out of your pocket. You want to be in cash flow, positive cash flow, where it's paying you an income, and just understanding what profits you're going to get per month will really help you understand what type of property you want and how much you can afford. When you are calculating it in your margins, it's also important to make sure if it's a leasehold, then you've got the service charge in there, you've got any maintenance, a contingency if you have any void periods, you've got your voids in there as well. Your mortgage is going to be your biggest factor, your lettings agency fees, any repairs or anything like that that you want to add in there as well. The third tip is checking out for demand. Now, this is going to be your biggest game changer in where you invest and the postcode that you're going to invest in. And I would always highly recommend that use things like spare room and open rent and things like that, but your best bet is just to call a lettings agency and see what they say. Where are the properties that are really hot, what are going really quickly, what's coming to the market and going in a day. And then the other thing is just checking out what isn't working in the area or that particular lettings agency, what is not going so quickly, and then just asking them questions about your property. This is what I'm thinking of doing. Do you think it will rent out? Just be careful that they're not like, you know, saying yes to everything because they want your business. Just making sure that everything that they're saying, like, yes, they do. And the last thing they want to do is take on a horrible property. So just take that into consideration when you are asking those questions. How long do you think it will take for my property to let out? this is the condition that I want it to be in. What are your thoughts? The fourth tip is part of your research is just checking for any regeneration in the area. There are loads of cities that are getting redeveloped all of the time and loads of money getting pumped into them. So just check where these upcoming areas are and what the plans are for the next 4 to 5 years, and even maybe in 10 years. Are they looking to increase the population in that particular area? What are they doing about it? The fifth tip is one of the most common, and it's not a get rich quick scheme. Let me say that again, it's not a get rich quick scheme, okay? Property is a long-term game, and that leads me on to the sixth point is don't get ahead of yourself. Yes, you want to buy 10 properties in one go, but just pace yourself when you are going. Things go wrong in property. We can't help that things go wrong. You know, something might happen to your property. I just had a leak in my property and had to move the tenants out for 2 weeks, and that obviously impacted on rent and things like that. So you just got to be careful with not getting ahead of yourself. It's so easy to do so and all going well, but just make sure you're considering what will actually go wrong as well. Hope you enjoyed that video, and please go and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.